Ultamize. If you want to feel more productive immediately, focus less on starting new things and more on finishing the things you've already started. Most people have no shortage of ideas. They start projects, tasks, plans, books, business plans, and improvements, but many of those things never get completed. They get delayed, they get replaced, or they simply get forgotten. For example, you begin a task with energy, but before it's finished, something else grabs your attention. You switch, then something else appears, and the original task remains incomplete. That pattern repeats, and over time, it creates a backlog of unfinished work. This has a cost, not just in terms of time, but in terms of mental energy. Every unfinished task occupies space in your mind. It creates a sense of something left undone. And when you have many of those, it becomes overwhelming. This is why finishing matters. Completion creates clarity, it closes a loop, it frees up mental space. For example, when you complete a task, you no longer have to think about it, it's done. Your attention is available for something else. I know that firsthand. When I finish this course, which is going to be today, it's done. I don't have to think about it anymore. That's a different feeling from having multiple tasks partially completed. Another benefit of finishing is momentum. When you complete something, you experience progress, and progress reinforces action. It makes it easier to start and complete the next task. For example, finishing one task often leads directly into starting another because your brain is already in a productive state. I know that's true because tomorrow I'm starting an entirely new online course. I'm going to start and finish one tomorrow because I'm in that momentum loop. But when tasks remain incomplete, that momentum is broken and restarting becomes harder. That's why it's important to define what finished means, because sometimes tasks remain incomplete simply because the endpoint is unclear. For example, if your task is too broad, it's difficult to know when you're done. But if your task is specific, completion is obvious. Instead of work on project, define a clear outcome like complete first draft or review and finalize a section. That clarity makes finishing achievable. Another useful approach is to limit how many tasks you work on at the same time. Because if you're working on too many things, finishing any one of them becomes less likely. If you have 5 tasks in progress, your attention's divided. Progress on each one slows down. But if you focus on one task at a time, completion happens faster. This is not always possible for every situation, but whenever you can, reduce the number of active tasks. You may think you're a great multitasker. You're not. No one is. Human brains aren't made that way. Focus on one thing at a time. That increases your chances of finishing. Another important factor is resisting the urge to switch tasks prematurely because switching often feels productive. It feels like you're doing more, but in reality, it delays completion. For example, starting something new may feel easier than finishing something difficult, but avoiding completion creates more work later. You got to do all the thinking about, well, where was I? What's missing? How do I actually finish this? That's not going to save you time. The key is to stay with the task until it's done or until you've reached a clear stopping point. That discipline leads to results. It also builds confidence because when you consistently finish what you start, you begin to trust your ability to follow through. That trust is important. It affects how you approach new tasks. It affects how you manage your time, and it affects how you see your own effectiveness. Another benefit of finishing is that it provides feedback. When you complete something, you can evaluate it, you can improve it, you can learn from it. But when tasks remain incomplete, that feedback never happens. And without feedback, improvement is limited. So make completion a priority, not perfection, completion. Ship it because finished work creates results. Unfinished work creates stress. How's that novel coming along, Bob, that you've been working on for 7 years? Oh, I'm near completion. You don't want to be like that. Finish what you start, and you'll see a significant improvement in both productivity and clarity.